Welcome to Brands Hatch for round one of the 2017 season with Thundersport GB. It is time for the biggest bikes with the most experienced riders. Lee Williams returns, number 94, as the GP1 champion. It's the Michelin tyres Thundersport GP1 Elite and Monex Europe GP1 Sportsman. 31 there, just on the grid alongside Lee is Colin Parker. And there's Barry Teasdale, of course. Barry, who's a former champion with Thundersport. Nice to have him out on the grid. A lot of capable riders here, but you could see a gap there just on the right of your screen on the grid. And because we've just found out, Phil Crow, of course another former champion and a big hitter in this class, has gone down on the warm-up lap. There has been a bit of rain. The circuit is a bit patchy and damp in places, and unfortunately Phil Crow has gone down on the warm-up lap, and that is incredibly surprising for someone so experienced. Lee Williams has the early lead. Barry Teasdale second. Number 7 going through there. Another former Thundersport champion, Pete Baker. Great to see Peter out there racing here in this GP1 class at a circuit he knows, of course, very well indeed. Number 4 there, Sam Osborne from Billinghurst on the MSG Racing Suzuki, and he's just up ahead of number 24, and that is Andrew Dudgeon, of course, our Isle of Man TT rider on the Team Slick Performance. It says Kawasaki in the programme, but we'll get a good glimpse of that in just a moment as they now make their way onto the start-finish straight. We have a faller there. Can't quite see who that was, didn't get a race number, but someone's gone down in the early stages. There's Charlie Morris, number 157, just going through ahead of number 31, Colin Parker. Of course, Charlie Morris, last year's 600 champion in the elite class, and well, this is certainly going to be a test for him. There's a familiar face as well, number 12, just behind Pete Baker. That's Nico Mawini, a Thundersport GP race winner before. 54 is Lara Small, good to have her out there, but it is at the front at the moment Lee Williams that has the advantage early on. There's Barry Teasdale. Yellow flag still waving there. Number 75 was Jamie Tibble from Southampton. Now in this class we have elite riders and sportsmen as well. We're on board here with one of our elite riders, and that's Dave Brooke, number 73, who certainly at the end of last season showed what he's got. So he'll be looking to try and rack up some points in the early stages. Steve Day here. Thundersport Sid is in the commentary box alongside me. It's always great to have the Thundersport GP1 boys rolling out again, Sid.
They always look so fast to me at the first round. Scare me to death, they do on the pit wall. But yeah, I mean, look at the depth of field in this class now. Unbelievable. Some old faces as well. Brilliant. Pete Baker, look at that. I mean, he must be older than God now.
Oh, he won't like that.
Oh, bless him. Doesn't he do well, though?
He does amazingly well, and I would
tribute.
imagine he'll be in his mid-50s now, Pete, and he still mixes it with the best of them, and he knows his way around here. Should just point out, although the sun is shining, although you can see various bits of dry circuit, as we just saw there, Pete Baker going underneath Dave Brooke, you can see here coming up to Druids that it is quite damp, bit slippery. That said, Sid, they are still lapping in the 48s, and that's shifting in conditions like this.
It's not hanging about, is it? Great shot there from Dave Brooke, by the way. I mean, you just saw how much the front suspension compresses under braking as they go uphill into Druids. And that little bar, by the way, is recording data of what the suspension's actually doing. And when they get back to the pits, they can plug a laptop into that, and it lays alongside the GPS of the circuit, and that can tell them exactly what the suspension's doing at any part of the track, which is clever stuff.
What about this guy then, Sid? Number 94, Lee Williams. A slightly different colour scheme this season for the high-tech coatings Kawasaki rider, but a phenomenal year in 2016 for Lee, who has just come on leaps and bounds every year he's raced with us ever since we first see him coming over from Supermoto, the rider from Bootle. He mixed it with some big names last year, and of course he was embroiled in that epic scrap with Josh Day for the championship that went right down to the wire. He is some rider, isn't he?
Great team, great rider, and year on year with the lad, maturity, you can see it in him. It grows and grows. You know, yesterday would have been really easy for him to have gone out and tried to set a blistering pace, but you know, he decided that discretion was the better part of valour. He happily took a third place, wanted to take home a bag full of points rather than a bag full of motorcycle, and that was good to see. Just wanted to get everything sorted out, get the bike dialed in, which is exactly what he's done, and he's looking pretty good out there at the moment, isn't he?
He is, yeah, number 94. We're talking about Lee Williams, last year's champion. Just worth pointing out that a long list of notable riders that have won this championship, it's never been successfully defended before.
Good point.
The GP1 championship. And I have to say that more often than not, champions have
Get him
not.
around the outside stick.
Oh, got a bit close for comfort there, but Lee Williams, he's on his way here to victory, and it's very, very rare that a champion goes into round one the following season and cleans up. But at the moment, he's doing very well indeed. We're now on board here again with David Brooke on the Arconi Racing Kawasaki, coming around a very tight Graham Hill bend.
See that bar I was talking about, Steve? Like, that's bolted on the outside, recording, and that goes up to like an ECU kind of affair, a mini computer, and records exactly what that suspension's doing at any point.
Oh, just nipping up the inside of a back marker there. He looked like he had a cut slick on. It has to be honest with you, as we now look at Barry Teasdale. Barry, of course, spent a season at British Championship level now, and well, even he's struggling at the moment to keep up with the phenomenally quick Lee Williams. Further back there is number 36, Stuart Goodson. He's about to be lapped by number 75. That is, of course, Jamie Tibble. Here comes Lee again. He's now going past Charlie Morris, and that's to lap last year's Sportsman Elite 600 champion. So that gives you an idea as to just how quick these guys are going in these conditions. Fastest lap of the race so far actually belongs to Colin Parker, number 31, who's in second place at the moment. 48.406. Just behind him is this group of riders. There's a few tail enders in amongst them.
Gaggle there, Steve.
Certainly
Wow.
is. Paul McClung there we just saw, number 49. I think it'll be worth keeping an eye on Paul McClung for this 2017 season. He was really very, very strong on a Super Twin machine on his day. This is, of course, a big jump up, but he's a talented rider. And once he gets the bit between his teeth and used to, of course, all of the extra available power, Paul McClung might be knocking on the door of a podium or two.
I don't think you're wrong for a moment, Steve. And funnily enough, on the practice day on Friday, unfortunately, he did dump it. It's been tricky conditions on and off all weekend. So they've been really, really busy putting the bike back together, etc., etc. And it is a brand new bike, let's not forget. And has to travel all the way from Scotland, obviously, and it's, you know, I think he'll come good. I think you're absolutely right. By the way, Barry Teasdale, that you were talking about a moment ago, he had a race win yesterday and set a blistering pace. It was like 47.7 or 47.8 or something, so really, really quick yesterday.
Lap record at Thundersports currently stands to a man who's having to watch this one from the gravel trap, and that's Phil Crow. A 47.3 is the fastest lap we've ever seen. It's worth pointing out, of course, that we are here in March, so there are slightly cooler temperatures, and we don't visit Brands again later in the season. There are 9 rounds of the championship with 9 different circuit layouts, so you just wonder what sort of times they'd get down to.
Well,
were we to visit here in the summer?
Well, yeah, exactly. Although that doesn't always follow, does it? We've seen that before when the track gets too hot. It doesn't always follow that they go that much faster. I mean, Lee Williams set the fastest lap in race yesterday, and it was really close to the lap record. It was a 47.5. So he was on it, there's no question about that, but traffic wasn't kind, and he, as I say, he just held back. He wasn't going to risk anything. If you look at some of these, near some of these curbs, look at the damp patches everywhere, and you can imagine, I think what happened to Phil Crow is I think he drifted onto the curb, and on the warm-up lap and dumped it from there, because those curbs, as you well know, Steve, are lethal when they're still wet.
I don't know what you're talking about, Sid. Never been on them in the wet before.
Not much.
Yeah,
No.
okay, well, great battle going on here between Paul McClung, Andrew Dudgeon there, the blue bike number 24. There's also Nico Mawini, and of course we've just been on board with Dave Brooke, very much part of that big group that is scrapping away for 6th place overall. At the moment it's still Lee Williams that leads this one, and it's going to be Lee Williams who wins this one. Across the line he goes to take the glory. It's going to be Colin Parker who takes second, but no one was stopping Lee Williams there in the slightly tricky conditions. He wins the race by 4.7 seconds from Colin Parker. Barry Teasdale, who won yesterday, takes 3rd here today. And then look at this lot. Pete Baker was 4th, Tibble 5th. Then it was, across the line there, McClung, Mawini, Brooke, Dudgeon and Mark Sykes. But there is the winner. The champion of 2016 takes race 1 win here on the Sunday on TV day at Brands Hatch, ahead of Colin Parker and Barry Teasdale. Pete Baker was 4th, Jamie Tibble was 5th and was the Sportsman race winner. Top 3 there in the Michelin GP1 Elites: Williams, Parker and Teasdale, and then Jamie Tibble, Sam Osborne and Kyle O'Donovan were on the Monex Europe GP1 Sportsman podium. That's it for race 1. We'll be back in just a few moments with race 2. Nice little Michelin advert there for the Michelin Thundersport GP1 race 2, and of course the Monex Europe Sportsman riders in amongst this as well. Sun's still shining, but there's still a little bit of a damp coating on the surface, which might just please Lee Williams, seeing as he was so dominant in race 1. Phil Crow, who crashed earlier on the warm-up lap, hasn't made it to the grid again. So fingers crossed that Phil's okay. Of course, Phil will be attending the GP1 race this season as well as the TT. Many other riders on this grid will be doing much the same. Slick tyres should be the order for the day, but it is pretty nippy out there. You just never know what tyres everyone's gone for. Lee Williams, though, is definitely the man to beat. Last year's champion, he's got the lead again, and he got the whole shot into Paddock Kilben. He goes into Druids up ahead of the field. Here they all come. Number 10 there. Further back is Ben Scranage, familiar name in this paddock. Andrew Dudgeon is just there on that blue and yellow Kawasaki, number 24. There's Sam Osborne again from Billingshurst, just getting used to life now on a 1000cc motorcycle, having spent some time, of course, in the 600s. There is Paul McClung, white helmet, number 49, just behind the white bike, 224 there of Barry Teasdale. Then it's Charlie Morris. 26 just going through there is Richard White from Watford. He isn't going to have too far to travel home on the way back from Brands Hatch. Gary Woodward is out there as well, number 17. And Gary Woodward, I wonder whether it might have just been him that had that crash earlier on over on that first lap, because he didn't complete a lap in race 1. There is Dave Brooke then, number 73. We just saw him there, white bike. Slightly different colour scheme for him this year, so it's a bit harder to pick out. Nico Mawini's up there as well, the yellow bike, number 75. Jamie Tibble from Southampton, one of our Sportsman riders. And here we are now on board with Dave Brooke going past Jamie Tibble, is he? No. Oh, just getting that front wheel loose on the Cooper Straight as he tips into Surtees, and he's just lost a place there as well. That's Paul McClung just going through on him, I believe. Here is number 49 on 73. Sid's still with me here in the commentary box once again, Sid. Looks like Lee Williams is the man to beat. He's checking out already.
The confidence is high, tails up. He's bound, isn't he? Very, very good. He's really, it's the same old thing, Steve. If everything's lovely and pleasant in the garden, your life's feeling good, I tell you, there is no stopping you. It's the nut behind the handlebars which is the most important part of a racing motorcycle. Just like to point out there, big thanks to Dave Brooke for the onboard footage he supplied us with there. Brilliant. Really chuffed with Dave Brooke. He's done so well over the last couple of years, and he's right at the sharp end. Of course, he does his own suspension service as well, helps a lot of guys in the paddock. But really good to see him up front. I think he's one to watch for this year.
Certainly agree with that, I have to say, as we see Andrew Dudgeon there, number 24, making up some places, and he's certainly doing better than he did earlier on. There's McClung in second, up ahead there of Dave Brooke, and then you've got this scrap here between Dudgeon and Tibble. Now, Dudgeon, of course, a Manx GP trophy winner. He's looking for more silverware this year. This is a little different, shall we say, Brands Hatch Indy from anything that he's used to, but he does do quite a bit of short circuit racing, and he is quick no matter what he turns his ideas to. Now let's have a look and see what we've got further back here. There's Charlie Morris up ahead there of Nico Mawini. Charlie Morris going well here in this race. Struggled a little bit in that earlier race, but Lee Williams was just planting his way through the field. Now, despite the fact that the conditions are, suddenly when you look at the screen here with the sun beating down, they look better than race one, but it is later in the day. It's got a lot cooler, and lap times actually are not tumbling.
No, I mean, strangely enough, the track temperature, Steve, it's not tropical by any means, but it is 13 degrees, which should tell you that it's okay. But there's a biting westerly wind, which if you stand out in it, it is freezing. And when you're on board the bike, it'll be freezing. Now, again, you know, but, oh, Lord, dear me!
There's your example. That was Paul McClung. Unfortunately, we got a bird's eye view of that from Dave Brooke as he comes across the line. And there you go, there's your example as to how cold it can be. So easy just to get on the power too early, and with not a lot of track temperature. Paul McClung, unfortunately, has bitten the dirt there and will be in the gravel trap. Now, I've been down there before. It is a quick place to go down. I hope he's up and he's okay. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, he's up and been cleared away by the marshals. He's walking, so there's no problems there. But yeah, I mean, you see these big bikes, they bite back, don't they, Steve? I mean, you know, and round a small circuit like this, and it'll be very similar at Mallory, you know, you can't just go guns blazing with these machines. I mean, they are literally intercontinental ballistic missiles. Some of them, I think Phil Crow's is something like 220 brake horsepower, for goodness sake.
Oh, Charlie Morris leaving it late there to brake and wants to hold on to this top 5 place. So Nico Mawini's in there amongst them. Paul McClung has gone down and out of the race. This is your race leader. What's been impressive about Lee in this race is the fact that he wasted no time at all at getting down to race pace within the second lap. He was already down into the low 49s and he just continues to plant in the same laps. It's just taken everyone else a couple of laps to really get up to speed, but unfortunately by the time they've got their tyres up to temperature, Willow is gone, and here he is, number 94, just putting a lap there on Sam McFarlane. In fact, he's putting a lap on pretty much everyone through the field at the moment. Sam McFarlane is 14th place respectfully in this race.
Unbelievable, isn't it? You know, but I mean, the thing is that you know how difficult it is when you're the guinea pig, as you like to say, at the front, and so you're the one who's testing the conditions. But the real strange thing is when you are leading and when you are pushing, right? By the way, Lee is on the Michelin Ultimate tyres, but the more you push, the more squirm you create and the more heat you create in the tyre, and the better they'll grip. Worth pointing out at this juncture, Steve, that although this championship is sponsored, the elite class, by Michelin, there is no control tyre. So Michelin are not the control tyre, despite the fact that they actually got first and second place in this championship last year.
Yeah, I was, funnily enough, you've taken the words right out of my mouth, because I was about to come on to that, because we actually did see quite a few decent tyre wars, didn't we, last season. Michelin's at the moment certainly proving that they are doing the job for Lee Williams. He's been very happy since he made the switch onto them. But yeah, you can come in here and you can have whatever tyres you want.
But you know, it's a great battle, and it's all like back to the old days, really. You know, the tyre wars. I love it, I do. And to be fair, Dunlop, they're very good, and they're coming up next month with a new Dunlop 213. I've been on the 212s for some years now. 213 is coming up. There's the last lap flag while we're talking about it. Avon's have come on really, really well, and their wet tyre, their new wet tyre, brand new for this year, is phenomenal. Continental, unbelievable the way they've come on leaps and bounds. So, you know, it's just really good to see all the tyre companies at war at Thundersport GB, rather than us just take the big note in the top pocket and have a control tyre and then make the guys pay for it. We worked really hard, Thundersport GB, to get the tyre prices down, and they are at war with each other. It's an economic war as well.
Well, it's good news for Lee Williams because it's working for him. Of course, these tyres are all high performance. They all work incredibly well, but it's about what you're comfortable with as a rider. And Lee Williams is very comfortable on his Michelin tyres as he wins race 2 here at Brands Hatch Indy with ease. He is the man to catch going into Donington next time out. Dave Brooke, brilliant second place for Dave. We were on board with him for parts of that race. Andrew Dudgeon in the end climbed his way up into third ahead of the Sportsman winner there, Jamie Tibble. There's the top 3, Lee Williams, Dave Brooke and Andrew Dudgeon. And the Monex Europe GP1 Sportsman podium, Jamie Tibble, Ben Crow and Kyle O'Donovan. So, championship standings going into the next round at Donington. Lee Williams, the champion, has a 25-point lead over Barry Teasdale, with Colin Parker 3rd, Dave Brooke 4th, Jamie Tibble 5th and Pete Baker in 6th. And in the Sportsman, no surprise there to see that Jamie Tibble won 3 out of 3. Kyle O'Donovan 2nd in the championship ahead of Ben Crow, Sam Osborne, Richard White and Ash Stone. That's us done then from Brands Hatch and round 1 for Thundersport GB in 2017. It all begins now. We'll see you for round 2 at Donington next time.